I am Jeff Foxworthy, and welcome to Gamekeeper Podcast. If you want to learn more about farming for wildlife and habitat management, then, buddy, you are in the right place. Join the Gamekeeper crew direct from Mossy Oak Land Enhancement Studio as they discuss the latest wildlife and habitat management practices, news, and, of course, hunting. There's no telling what you'll learn, but I'm going to tell you, I bet it's interesting. Enjoy.
We're live in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, Lanny.
Here we are.
It's another hot day in August.
It is. A little rain on the forecast, though.
Well, it's going to miss us. I've been watching.
No, it's actually the chances are increasing. You're not paying for your weather app, are you?
No, I'm not.
Did you not listen to our buddy at Nutrient Ag Solutions? What he told you?
I did not. But I'm watching the radar. It's going south of us. So
it's going to build up later. I think you're going to get more than you expect.
So let me ask this real quick. You're really good at getting things done.
Well, thank you.
Can we bring in a cadaver dog and let him search this building? There is a dead something in this building.
Yes.
I don't know if the smell is worse or all of the essential oils and Febreze and forever chemicals that have been sprayed all over this office to cover up that smell.
And we need to clarify what this office is. This is an old, actually, building supply store. Nick, you remember when it was a supply store?
I sure do.
So it's we've modified it, added here, there, and yonder, and everything else. There's a lot of seed in the back. So we often have, and we back up to a kind of a woolly area. So we often have wildlife right here in our office.
In the office.
In the office.
You never know what you're going to walk into. There'll be a ceiling tile will be missing, and there's some kind of vermin.
Yeah, don't close your door for the weekend because you may open it to some type of wild animal on the floor of your office.
It's just how we we try to live as close to nature as possible.
Well, we need a cadaver dog.
Yeah. What is a cadaver?
They find dead bodies.
Isn't it a cadaver?
It could be a cadaver.
Yeah.
It could be.
I thought this was going to be a joke about some diver.
So, look, we're going to talk catfish today.
One of my favorite subjects.
And it's a serious subject. So let me start. Let me look over on the couch. We've got this guy, it looks like Panama Jack sitting over there.
It looks like he could catch a fish for sure.
We've got Captain David Magnus.
All right, in the house.
So he's from over off the Mississippi River, big time. In Lanny, he's got a Instagram page, website called Catting Around. And let me just tell you, don't put that in Instagram.
Have you been looking at that?
You'll go down some rabbit holes you might not want to go down.
We almost had your feed cleaned up, Bobby.
It took me a while to finally find it.
Yeah, we're going to have to,
Catting Around. Welcome over here, David.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate being here.
Yeah, well, we're glad to have you. And then sitting next to him, we've got
our local catfish guy.
Nervous,
right.
yeah. So on the couch, Nick Domino.
Yes. Nick knows his stuff on catfish.
He does know his stuff.
Yes, he does.
But I think,
and they do run at one of the best local hardware store around here too.
It's awesome.
That's right.
You can get but the great thing about it, you can get advice too.
Yes, Nick always gives you good advice.
They're going to tell you something.
That's right.
When you leave out of there.
Oh yeah,
you're going to have something to work on. That's right.
So do y'all have regulars that just come and sit at the counter for like 4 hours at a time, like retired people and stuff?
No, not really. Not really. It's kind of too busy for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you what, when you go in the store, it is like a beehive. It's stuff.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. It really is. Lucky to have them.
It's the opposite customer service that you get at those huge big box hardware type places.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
Yeah, and they load it up for you. They're great.
Take care of you.
When you're a do-it-yourselfer.
Like you are, a new do-it-yourselfer.
It's a handy place to go.
Sure. Well, we're definitely DIYers.
When you're Bobby, I ring you up and then go to the back and load it too.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's service.
If you're in this area, it's Phillips Hardware. It's just right down the road from it's really the next.
It's right up to, they're our neighbors.
That's
Taco Bell between us and
the cafeteria at the Taco Bell is between us and them.
So, Lanny, I'm up there a lot early in the morning on Saturday mornings. Yeah. And the other Saturday morning I was there and I was loading up some lumber by myself. There wasn't anybody helping me back there.
Oh,
but I was, but all of a sudden I hear these dogs running, a rabbit. And I look across the parking lot, and here comes a little rabbit just getting it across the parking lot.
Yeah.
And there's a guy walks out of the bushes, and he starts hollering at his dogs, and they get them over there, and they get on the track right where that rabbit ran and kept the race on.
Well, on the other side of the highway?
Just here behind his.
Yeah, like he comes from across the creek, which runs straight behind this place too. And he literally runs rabbits every day.
Huh.
In town.
And those
Once
dogs,
they get close to the highway, he calls them up and back he goes.
Huh.
But they had their noses right where that rabbit went across the parking lot. They were right on it.
Yeah.
We may need to get him as a special guest.
Yeah.
So one thing we will say about Nick is he's listened to every podcast we've ever done.
Yes. From the get-go.
I don't know how many people we can say that about.
He's probably the only one.
Except for Bobby.
Except for Bobby. You've listened to him twice.
I have to listen
And
to
Mitchell's
it.
got quite a few under his belt
It's
now.
a torture. Yeah, well, we thank you for that, Nick.
Yeah, we do,
yeah.
Nick.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and look, he gives us recommendations on guests and what to talk about and everything else. So
Yeah, he does.
It's a small town, and we love it that
yeah,
way.
we do love it that way.
So we've learned Nick is crazy about catfish, and we were talking about doing one of these podcasts, and he started mentioning you, and everything just fell into place. But from what I understand, you're about as serious of a catfisherman as a guy can be.
I try to be. I live it. I breathe it. I sleep it. I dream about it. I cry about it.
That's awesome.
So yes, I been catfishing on the Mississippi River for 40 plus years. Started out high school, just going down there and fishing, and it just, that passion and that desire just increased and increased and increased, and got to figuring out you could catch these big catfish by rod and reel, and I'm talking 50 plus pound fish right here under our nose, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it led into me starting the guiding. Mr. James Patterson in Memphis, Tennessee, Big Cat Patterson, he guided up there forever. And I booked a guide trip with him 15, 16 years ago. And I told him, I said, Mr. Patterson, I don't care if we don't catch a fish today. I want you to teach me how to catch big fish. And he did that. That one day spent with that gentleman was priceless. And the best part of it was the friendship we've developed since then. He and I still talk. But when he got to where he was, his health, he had to retire. He told me, and he kind of was backing me a little bit, pushing me, and I went on and got my Coast Guard captain's license and started to guiding, and I quit hunting. I felt like if I was going to be good at something, I needed to devote 100% to it. So that's what I've done, and that passion still burns today.
That's awesome.
So what are these great big catfish you're talking about? So his methods, are they radically different than just the average catfisherman going out?
Well, no. And his favorite method is what everybody uses now, most all your tournament fishing. He called it controlled drifting, and he kind of, I think him and Bill Dance probably sort of came up with this technique and perfected it, and the slang over the years has turned into bumping. And that's Nick's. If Nick is fishing, he's going to be bumping.
It sounds fun. I know that.
Yeah. But it's just a technique. You cover a lot of water. You can fish shallow water, deep water, fast current, slow current. You can kind of get a mix of all of it doing this technique. But it's one-on-one. You've got a single rod in your hand, and you're running the reel in free spool, and that bait's 150, 200 foot behind the boat. You're going down the river, the boat going backwards. You're moving with the current, but you slow the boat down, say half current speed. And so we use a lighter weight, and that lets our bait get way on back there. And we're targeting active fish, and you're out there in 2-3 mile an hour current and a 50 pounder. If he's active and hits it, he will do his best to jerk the rod out of your hand. And it's kind of like, I tell a lot of my guests on the boat, it's kind of like deer hunting, and that trophy 8-point buck walks out. It's an adrenaline rush.
Oh yeah.
You know, and it's just a different way to get that rush, you know, and it's in my blood, and I can't get rid of it.
Well, I mean, fishing is hunting, you know, to me. I mean,
It is.
You're tracking them
right.
down.
It is.
I think actually Hank Parker made this clear to me one day when he was talking about fish and how they suspend and how you have to approach them and everything else. And
Yep.
it's hunting. It really
is.
Yeah.
And we spend, I know before a tournament, and Nick will contest to this, we may spend at least one day, if not a day and a half or 2 days, doing nothing but riding and looking at that graph. never put a bait in the water. We're hunting.
Yep.
We're actually hunting where those fish are at, where they're staging at, what they're doing, kind of watch them. If you find them that morning, you may want to run back by there that afternoon, just be sure everything's still on
there.
go, you know. Yeah, that's right.
Are you running live scope?
No, I do not. I run Humminbird equipment, and I just run the down scan and the side scan. I haven't got into the live scope yet, and I'm me personally, I've never used it, never been in a boat with it on it, but I don't know how well it would work 70, 80 foot deep in that turbulent water.
Gotcha.
With a lot of silt and stuff in it, so
Somebody probably has though.
oh yeah. Some people have got it, but I just hadn't taken time to sit down and talk to them and say, hey, you know.
It sounds similar to, when I was a kid and we would go trout fishing on the White River, and you would be in those long fiberglass John boats, and you would the guide would make the boat perpendicular to the river, and you would just drop your line and get it on the bottom, and it would bounce, and you would go with the current. And they've probably outlawed this, but used to, you could hang chains from the boat that would kind of slow the boat down. Probably disturbs the riverbed a lot, but it slows the boat down and kind of keeps your boat perpendicular, so each fisherman can have their line out without getting crossed.
That's right. It's just all the same thing. And you know, I mentioned Nick and I both, we prefer to have our baits way back behind the boat, but it's nothing wrong with using a heavier weight and just bouncing straight up and down.
Okay.
Just like your trout fish. And a lot of times when I have customers, this technique's hard. It can be difficult to pick up. So you have those customers, or say if I've got 4 in the boat, about 2, no more than 3 is all you want bumping out the back to keep lines from getting tangled up, first one thing and another. I'll put somebody on the front of the boat with a heavy weight just bumping straight down. And a lot of days, they'll catch more fish than the guys out the back do. So you just have to let the fish tell you what they want. And Nick knows what I'm talking about. Catfish are, I grew up fishing over Yellow Bushy River, feeding Grenada Lake, and you sat on the bank and you thought you put bait on, threw it out, and you waited on a bite. A catfish is a complex animal. And the more you try to learn about them, the dumber I get.
Sounds like turkeys.
About like turkeys, that's right. Yep. Same thing.
Would we be surprised to know how many big fish are out there in these bodies of water?
Probably so. I will say that the population of big fish, I don't think it's what we had 5+ years ago. And we don't seem like we're catching as many of the old big fish as we used to. Why? I don't know. Environment changes. The Mississippi River that I predominantly fish on changes daily and especially yearly. If you have, like we've got kind of consistent water right now, you have 2 or 3 or 4 foot rise floating along this summer and fall. And then this winter, this dude goes up 25 feet. And it stays up for a while. When it goes back down, everything has changed. The bottom structure, you'll have holes that may fill in 10 to 20 foot in 1 year, but when it does that, it's created another hole somewhere else. So we're steady on that hunt, trying to find those new places and that kind of thing.
Is it more the holes and the depths you're looking at, or is it more structure, or does it just depend on the time of year?
It depends on the fish. Some days, seems like if the water's rising or steady, these fish may move over on towards sand. They may be as shallow as 15 feet on sandbars. And then you turn around and the river starts falling, they have a tendency to go deep and on mud, on rock. Wood, that's when they get in that structure. And that's what my buddy right here likes.
That's what I like.
He likes to dig them out of that wood.
So speaking of structure, Nick, do y'all get hung up? You're dragging your line. Is that common? How do you get around it?
Yeah, I'll have 5 rods ready to go, rigged up. And in a day of fishing, I will most of the time I will break off all 5 of those and have 10 more rigs already tied up, ready to go.
Wow.
So I have to put it back.
Yep.
So I'll probably go through 6 or 7 a day.
How did you get interested in this?
Oh boy. It started probably around 2005. A guy took me on the Tennessee River to below Wilson Dam, which would be Pickwick Lake. And we were running jugs like with 5 foot of line on them below the tail race there. And it was just one after another, just catfish. But they were all 5, 12 pounds, somewhere in there.
Blue cats.
Blue cats. Mm-hmm. Yeah, every one of them, blue cats. And they turned that water off. Once it got dark, they usually started slowing the water down, those generators, and it kind of just taper off to nothing, and it's time to go home. But if you could find a night when they had enough rain that they were going to leave all that running, oh man, you could wear them out. Well, then we heard about the big catfish on the upper side of the dam, which would be Wheeler Lake.
Joe Wheeler.
That's right. So we started rigging up jugs, 18, 20, 24, 26 feet of line on them. And it usually starts getting good about the second week of July when they come off the spawn. And on that still water on that lake, they're suspended more up in the water column. So it might be 40, 50 foot deep, but you're catching fish in 25 foot jugs. But, yeah, we started catching some sure enough giants. And then a buddy of mine, we were going every weekend. And we're finally like, this is boring. This is not fun anymore. I mean, the best night we had a 94 and an 80 in the same night.
Wow.
Wowzers.
Yeah. When we pulled that 94 up, I literally thought it was a bull shark. I said, this thing is huge.
Watch your toes.
But we said, we need to try this with a fishing pole. Man, we floated around out there for weekends on end and might get a bite. And we finally there wasn't much information on catfishing like that on the internet. YouTube, nothing. There was one guy, and that was it. And finally, more information I learned, and we finally started catching some fish.
And you were using a similar technique?
No, on the Tennessee River, it's a little different. I was like 6 rod holders around the boat, like 2 out the back, 2 out the backside, and 2 out the front. And I would try to use my Navionics map and run ledges and stuff and submerged islands and stuff like that, and follow those ledges and go over some of those humps and stuff, and start
just with a bait at 25 feet or whatever it would be.
No, actually, when I was doing that, so I kind of learned that if you're doing it in the daytime, they're normally going to be down lower. And so I'd hit the bottom, and about one of them I might crank it up 2 turns, which usually on my reels is about 2 feet. One I might crank it up 3 turns, the next one 4, and so forth.
Give a little variability out there.
See what depth they're kind of hitting at.
And bait wise, I mean, it's always a conversation. Live bait, cut bait. I mean, is there a go-to, or y'all just fishing whatever you can get your hands on?
Lanny, you won't believe this, but you can go to the Tennessee River in April and May, and you can catch flatheads on cut bait all night long.
I catch them on the Mississippi River year-round on cut bait.
On cut bait. So are y'all stocking up on bait in the right time of year and salting and freezing it and then using it cut?
I use skipjack.
Yes, sir.
100% of my trips are going to have skipjack. In the wintertime, as the water starts cooling, I carry fresh shad also. Some days you won't get a bite on skipjack. You'll catch every fish on shad.
On that fresh shad.
You can turn around the next day and it'll be opposite. So I go back to, you can't figure them catfish out.
About like in turkeys.
But I've literally seen that from one day to the next.
And what species are y'all targeting?
Blue cat mostly.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't do very little just targeting flatheads. I would do things a little different. The flatheads I catch are by accident. You know, typically, you know, flathead fishing, you're going to be in slower current over toward the bank, 20, 25 foot of water. And most of the time I'm fishing 40 to 90 foot of water. But every once in a while you'll pull that flathead up from 75 foot deep and you sit there going, what? Why? You know, but it happens.
Yeah.
So,
I guess they just see that flash and think it's some live bait and they hit it.
well, it's got to be fresh cut bait. Now, the cut bait that I use is it is frozen. It's vacuum sealed, but the secret to it is how you take care of that bait before you freeze it.
I was going to ask specifically
Yes.
about that.
And that when you take a piece of skipjack out of the freezer that's 6 or 8 months old, and you cut it, and the liquids are still bright red,
You've done it right.
it's good. Yes, sir. It's done right. And it may not be as good as just fresh caught, but I'll fish with it any day of the week.
Yes,
it
sir.
don't bother me in the least to fish with.
How many different kind of cats are we talking about? So there's flatheads,
Yep.
which is, everybody loves to eat them.
Yeah,
They're so delicious. Y'all are targeting blue cats.
cats.
Are y'all eating all those, or do y'all turn some of these big ones back, or what?
Oh, I turn, and even on my guide service on my webpage and stuff, I ask that we throw back anything over 12 pounds. And most of the time, even targeting big fish, you're going to catch a number of 5 to 12 pound fish. So most customers, most people don't want to carry over 4 or 5 fish home, so it's pretty easy to get those fish under 12. And is 12 the magic number? I don't know.
Right.
I just know that fish is big enough to be a brood size, and I feel good about. Man, I'm gonna tell you, I grew up on that Grenada Lake, hand grabbing.
Oh man, yeah,
I have dressed and eat 30-pound flatheads.
yeah.
And I remember the day that I put the first blue cat back in the Mississippi River that weighed 20 pounds. And that's something that I never thought I would do. But when you do it one time, after that, it wasn't a bit of problem in the world. You change that mindset and you go to thinking toward conservation and things like that. Yeah. I eat Mississippi River fish most of the time once a week, if not twice a week. Yes, I keep fish and I dress fish. But my favorite is 8 to 10-pound fish. And, I'm an old, pretty healthy, fluffy country boy. And when I fry catfish, I like a good thick piece of meat. If I wanted to eat breading, I'd cook cornbread. So I like that 8 to 10-pounder because after you trim it up, you get the fillet clean and the red meat off of it and the fat. You've still got a good thick piece to eat on.
I'm gonna tell you, blue cat too. Very white, very very good fish. I mean, I've compared it to honestly to snapper more than anything. If I was to compare it to something as white as it
my
is.
wife and I, and we've converted several people. We prefer the blue cat. And I grew up flathead. Man, when I was a kid growing up, flathead, that was a delicacy.
That's right. Still is to me. Yeah.
And it's wonderful. But maybe it's because my teeth are old or whatever now. But the blue cat, the texture of the meat is softer and more of a buttery type texture, where the flathead is a little bit coarser. It's actually, in layers, basically.
Stringy.
But it is, either one of them's
delicious.
wonderful.
Yeah.
And even our old channel cat,
Hey, I love it. I love a channel cat.
A channel cat out of that Mississippi River, and we catch them in the wintertime. We'll catch some up 15 pounds, channel cats. And buddy, you want to fight 15-pound channel cat in that current and give it to you.
So these guys that were grabbing that we interviewed a couple months back, what was the other fish they were talking about catching all the time? There was some other species of catfish. It wasn't blue, it wasn't flathead, and it wasn't channel cats. It wasn't mud cats.
Did they call it a white?
I don't think they called it a white,
Or
but
Appaloosa? Isn't that what they call
No,
it?
I've heard of Appaloosa.
That's
a
a flathead.
Or they call them yellow cats sometimes too.
Yeah.
Old school growing up there, we would go yellow cat grabbing.
I wish I could remember. They kept referring to them.
We've got 3 species of catfish, big catfish here, and that's the flathead, the blue, and the channel.
Mm-hmm.
Now, each one of those species has got a dozen different slang names.
Yeah.
That's probably what it was.
And that's probably what it was you know, a lot of people, a male channel cat during the spawn, his head swells up and big knots of meat on his head, and he gets real dark blue and lips get red. And that was a blue cat, but it's not. Mm-hmm. It's actually a male channel cat.
So what's a yellow cat?
It's a flathead.
Flathead.
Okay.
But then there's a mud cat too. Isn't there a mud cat?
There is a mud cat, yes.
And
That's a bullhead.
Bullhead.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he is a bullhead.
And he ain't worth eating.
They don't get very big and mean as a snake. You can't touch one without getting finned hardly.
There used to be a guy around here for a number of years. I won't say his name, but the password to everything he had was
Mud cat.
I know that guy. Yeah, that's exactly right. Mud cat.
That's right. Well, look, hey Dudley, why don't you do your rapid
We
fires real
haven't done
quick?
rapid fire. We got to talk about catfish too fast.
Okay.
Rapid fire is brought to you by our friends. We are so proud of these guys, Nutrient Ag Solutions.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to ask y'all about a dozen questions rapidly. I know Nick's ready. Have you ever heard this before?
Nope.
Just give us a quick response. We're trying to get
Both
to know
of
you.
us at the same time?
We'll let Nick go first, and
Okay.
then you go next.
Okay.
We've interviewed a couple people in the past that just want to tell a story with every question. Just a quick answer, maybe a brief 5-second story if it's really good. All right. Okay. Are you ready?
Yep.
Have you ever fished with a catalpa worm?
No.
Yes.
Make your own batter or just get it at the store?
Get it at the store.
Spinning rod or open face?
Open face.
Open face.
Forced to pick one side.
Wait a minute. We got to go back. I'm thinking that's the same thing.
Well, I kind of was too.
My spinning rod, I'm thinking it is an open face.
Bait caster.
Bait caster.
Okay. I've always called an open face
Well, you
the
call
bait
it wrong.
caster.
The bait
Yeah, the bait
caster,
cat. That's
yeah.
a bait cat.
I knew what he meant.
Spinning rod or bait caster?
Bait caster.
Forced to pick one side of the river. Are you going to fish the half that's connected to the cut bank or the half that's connected to the points or the bars?
According to where the fish are at.
There you go.
Okay. I was just
And
going
that
to.
could
I'm
be
fishing
either or.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm fishing the faster side of the river.
Okay. Name a really weird experimental bait that you have tried.
Chicken breast with Jello and grape Kool-Aid.
I was going to ask about that one.
What's something really weird you've tried?
I have tried. It was actually skipjack, which I use all the time, but I had marinated it in chopped garlic, and I've even bought some oil, different fish oils, and marinated it in that. And my conclusion is it's just a mess. Just use skipjack.
Would you rather fish a slow rise or a slow fall?
Slow fall all day long.
Fall.
Just get the fish in the boat, or I don't mind having a little bit lighter tackle to enjoy the fight.
Ooh.
Tournament.
If
get
it's
the
a
fish in the
tournament,
boat.
get him in the boat. That's right.
Guide trips. Let them use a light rod and enjoy the fight.
Okay. Have you ever caught a catfish while it was in the teens or colder?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. Favorite condiment for fried catfish?
But you might need to tell Nick what a condiment is.
Fried okra.
No, like what do you like to dip your catfish in?
Oh, okay.
Hot sauce.
Hot sauce.
Georgia Vidalia hot sauce.
Georgia Vidalia hot
Vidalia
sauce. I love it.
22% Vidalia onion. It's wonderful.
I'll have to try that now.
Yep.
Hush puppies.
What about Nick?
Go ahead,
He
Nick.
said hot sauce.
I said hot sauce.
What particular kind? Any of them?
Whatever I got.
Yeah. Hush
Whatever your wife bought that week.
hush puppies. I'd rather eat more fish, or I save room for hush puppies.
I'd rather eat more fish.
I'd rather eat more fish, but I am going to eat a couple of hush puppies because I cook them first.
Okay.
So I graze on
That's
them.
to keep
before
you
I get-
hushed.
There you
yeah.
go.
Okay.
Yep.
And last but not least, what is the most mediocre fish you've ever caught? I'm just kidding. What's your personal best catfish?
72-pound flathead on Tennessee River.
72.5-pound blue cat on the Mississippi River.
Oh!
That was great.
That,
We got Refrigerator Perry on both of them, 72.
Yep.
How did this? So, Captain, I'm looking at you. What do you feel when you were out there floating on the Mississippi and you're doing your bumping and you're taking it serious and you see somebody come running a trot line? What do you think about trot line?
Well, I don't mind trot lines. I mean, it's a technique to fish. I wished that everyone would kind of get on board with conservation and maybe release the big fish, but I can't be mad about it. You know, that guy gets a weekend. He may not get to go, but once or twice a year, he goes out there and puts him out some lines and puts a little fish in the freezer. I can't knock him for that. You know, so I've run a many a trot line. I grew up on that Grenada Lake. I remember the very first blue cat that I ever saw in my life. It was snowing in March or April. And Daddy had set out some trot lines, and I'll never forget it. When we pulled that trot line up and 2 or 3 pound blue cat on there, and Daddy said, "That's a snow cat." So that was my first greeting to a blue cat.
It's funny how you remember little stuff like that.
That's right. Yep.
You know, speaking of trot lines, just in the last month, there was a tragedy over on the Pumpkin Creek part of the Tom Bigby River where a guy was running trot lines and evidently got a hooked or something, and it pulled him over, and he drowned.
I heard about that.
Yeah.
And,
you got to be careful out there running,
you know,
sure, especially with swift current.
Yeah, there's a big weight hook to those things, you know?
Yep.
So
dangerous
Dangerous.
if you're not careful. All right, so let's go back. I'm really interested in how you target these bigger catfish. And so are these catfish in schools, and they're just all mixed together, or all the big ones are they by themselves, or are they in schools themselves?
It's according to the time of the year. So let's just jump to wintertime. Catfish are not a schooling fish, but they will group. So you may find a group of fish, and typically when you find that group, they're all basically the same size. So if you catch a 10-pound fish, pretty much every fish you catch right there is going to be, say, 7 to 13 pounds. They'll be within that range. Your bigger catfish are loners. You very seldom will see over 3 big catfish that are grouped together. Now, you may see one here and go down this bank scanning, and 200 yards down there, you may see another one. But the big ones don't seem to hang out with each other. And the little ones don't hang out with him because he's food, you know, so they're kind of by themselves, the big boys are.
So can you see them on that hummingbird when you go down the bank, and there's a 40-pounder right there?
Yes, sir. Now, you've got to get all the stars have got to line up, you know. You may see, and I'll just go with the down scan version, you may see a bump or a blob. Catfish to me show up kind of like a grain of rice. And of course, the bigger that grain of rice, the bigger the fish. Well, if you see that grain of rice 75 foot deep, and it's that big, yep, that's a 50-pound plus fish, you know. And it's just some of those things you learn. You see that thing, you drop in there and you pull it out. You know, you pull that fish out and you say, okay, that was a 25-pound fish. I'm gonna remember what he looked like on that graph.
It takes a lot of time staring at that depth finder.
I bet so.
A lot.
It is it's unreal at the hours of staring at a fish finder, trying to figure these things out. Now, also with that down scan, if you get right over a big fish, you get over him and you've got a good picture. I have seen their dorsal fin. I have seen their eye socket. And a spoonbill, he's easy to pick up. Of course, you can see that old paddle out, you know, on front of him. But Yeah, and I've got a picture or two on my phone of that I took of my graph that 100% blue cat. You know it is, and a big one. But you don't get that quality of picture every time. Because on that Mississippi River, we're looking in the current, full of debris, silt. So we ask a lot of our electronics to.
You see a lot of. Have you ever seen like a fish that you didn't catch, but you said, "Oh my goodness, that one's as big as that couch right there."
I've got that picture on my phone right now, and I set up on that fish. I was fishing by myself last spring, and I fished almost an hour and a half, 2 different techniques, and didn't draw a bite. And that fish was there when I left.
Huh.
I had some customers from Grenada, a husband and wife, a while back, and he said, I just want a trophy fish. And they had fished with me in the years prior, and he just wanted a big one. So we found 37, 38 foot of water. I found a log that had a root ball on it, and it was 2 big fish laying there, one on each side of that root ball. And I pointed them out to him. We pulled up above it, spotlight. We threw 4 baits back there on it. We sat for 55 minutes before we got a bite. But the fish weighed 56 pounds when we got him in the boat.
Holy God.
So it was worth it.
I'll wait. Yeah, it's just a pound a minute. I'll be all there.
How old is a fish that size, in your estimation?
The things that I read and hear, the average lifespan of a blue cat, just say 25 years. Now it was the Mississippi state record was caught a couple of years ago at Natchez, I think 131 pounds. And if I'm not mistaken, Mississippi Department of Wildlife aged that fish at 20 or 21 years old. But they're just like trophy deer.
Genetics.
You got a world of 8 points out there, but all of them don't make that 160 inches.
Yeah.
And that's the same way with our catfish. You may have a bunch of them, but not all of them going to make that 50, 60 pound status.
I believe a lot of them get to like 20 pounds, 20, 25 pounds, and that's just what they're going to be.
That's what they're going to, just like, I used to hunt a place that was full of 8 points that were 16 inches wide. No mass, good long tines, and we had food plots. We tried to do everything right. We let these deer go year after year. 15 years later, you're still seeing the same 125, 128 inch 8 points, we just didn't have the gene or the soil or whatever it took.
Yeah.
Same way with the fish, he just hadn't got the genetics he needs to get that 100-pound status.
That's the reason I believe it's so important to let those bigger fish go, because they need to be able to pass those genes on.
Right.
Good
A
point.
50,
Exactly.
60, 70 pound fish, it really needs to be let go.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
is the Mississippi River as fertile as the Mississippi Delta is for growing things? Is it that fertile for growing big fish?
I believe it is.
Yeah, I do too.
That's
do too.
about the only place I fish now. I just
Yeah.
love it. It's just nothing like holding a rod in your hand and you're like, oh, there he is. And get ready.
I was
But
gonna
you're
ask
in the,
Nick
you
that,
know,
yeah.
biggest
You never
river.
know. It might be a 100-pounder. It might be a 10, 12-pounder. But
Yep.
the chance for it to be a really big fish go up when you're on the Mississippi River.
And Nick lives here where we're 10 minutes from the Tom Bigby Waterway, which is great catfishing. But Nick's going to the Mississippi.
See, it's odd too, because the Tom Bigby, it's tough to catch. To me,
Big
it's
fish.
tough to rod and reel fish and catch big blue cats.
Yeah.
If you're going to fish the Tom Bigby, you need to be targeting flatheads.
Mm-hmm.
They are by far the bigger species around here.
Yeah.
Like, there's a picture of that Mississippi.
Golly. That's a good one.
That
right
is
there.
a big fish.
That's a big fish.
How did he catch that fish?
I think that guy was fishing from the bank.
Boy, that's a big fish. And so they estimated that fish at just over 20 years.
Yep.
131 pounds. That's a big
Now
fish.
it was a fish caught by a gentleman. I think he lives up above Rosedale, Mississippi, somewhere in that area, and it's a picture out there on the internet, and I'm pretty sure I'm correct on this knowledge. This guy didn't have any way to weigh the fish, and he had caught a lot of big fish, but he knew this by far was unreal. He got his wife some kind of way, a sandbar she could get to it. He put a rope on the fish and eased it across the river. He kept the fish alive. But anyway, he got over to this sandbar where his wife could take pictures. And he got some measurements of the fish. Anyway, he released it. And I saw something on the internet, and I'm pretty confident it went through the Mississippi Department of Wildlife. They took this picture and had it analyzed. Well, up on the side of the guy's boat, they had the name of the boat. Say, I don't remember what it was, but let's just say Sea Ark. They had that emblem. So they had a definite length and height. On the seat, just a bench seat beside where the fish's head was up, the guy had a Coca-Cola can. So that was something else they could use.
For scale.
For scale. And anyway, it came up that said this fish was 150 pounds plus.
Wow.
And that fish was released back in the river alive.
Good for him.
Yeah, hit the horn
So-
for that guy, for real.
You know,
I don't know if I could have done that.
well, you know, and that's what, you know, a lot of people wouldn't.
I know.
have.
I know, Nick.
But,
Well, y'all got to see this thing.
but,
I mean, there's still a lot of commercial fishermen that put in up around Rosedale and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, keeping a lot of those fish.
it is.
So would one of these big 50-pound fish, would it be as athletic as I'm thinking it might be? When you hook one and you're fighting one that size, is it all you want?
The bigger fish seem to, when you catch one 15, 20 pounds, you'll feel him shaking his head and stuff. You can feel your rod just kind of jerking. If you feel that right off the bat, most of the time it's not going to be very big. That big one, he's going to stay on the bottom and pull away, or he may swim right to you. But when it comes time for him to start coming up, he may come up a little ways.
Game on.
Right back to the
down.
bottom.
So what kind of tackle are y'all using? Like, what kind of reel and
Line
weight, all that stuff?
For bumping, you're going to be surprised. But I use 50-pound braid, a 300 class bait caster, because that bumping, you're holding that reel and rod the whole time, and you don't want anything big and heavy because it's a workout. And B&M poles, I use their poles. They make a rod specifically for
West
bumping.
Point homeboys.
Yep.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
And then, so you going braid straight to hook?
No, braid to a 3-way swivel.
Uh-huh.
And then, depending on if the water's dropping or rising, if it's rising, I feel like fish tend to be a little more elevated if the river's on a rise. So I may use a 2-foot weight line and a 3-foot mono. That's mono. I'll use a 20 pounds for the weight. That way, if the weight gets hung in something, I can break it off and not lose my hook. And I'll use like 60-pound mono on the hook line.
Kale hook, circle hook,
Circle
J hook,
hook,
circle hook.
all the way.
All the way. Hook them in the back.
And I'll still rip it. But I still set the hook like it's a 10-pound bass.
I can't help it.
You can't get that out of the system.
David, you ever had a rod snatched out of somebody's hands that's not paying attention?
I've had it snatched out of mine.
No, sir. I haven't. Now, I almost. I've seen it 3 or 4 times, and just as recent as mid-July in a tournament. I put together a little tournament team. We call it Just Let the Girls Fish. and it's my wife and a friend of ours from Tallulah, Louisiana, Sheila Powers. So I carry those 2 girls. And I let them fish, and they bump. They're bumping. I mean, them girls, they get after it. They're serious about it. But anyway, it was one of those mornings that the bite was slow. My wife had done been sitting back there for an hour, bumping without a bite, and all of a sudden, it was one of them oh my moments. You know, she had to reach to grab her rod. It pretty much jerked it out of her hand. And And the bad part is she didn't get a hookup, so we don't know if he was 10 pounds or 110 pounds.
He was probably, yeah.
for sure.
110 sounds better.
Hey, last summer, me and my son, we were fishing, went down to Vicksburg, fishing on the Mississippi River. And, yeah, it was kind of the same deal. One of those just been fishing and fishing and fishing, nothing. And all of a sudden, I felt a big fish really wants to just grab it and kind of start pulling. I felt tap, tap, tap. I said, oh, I think he's got it. And I went to set the hook. And when I did, he must have been bigger than I thought. I jerked back, and the rod went phew,
Out your hand.
out the hand into the river. I snatched the rod out of my son's hand because he was out there, about 200 feet out too. I said, give me your rod, give me your rod. I started getting over there and reeling, and I said, man, it's lost. $250 reel. I said, it's gone. It's over. And I gave him his pole back. I said, keep on fishing. I'll get another one. He said, Dad, I feel something. Caught it. Reeled it back in. Luckily, the fish came off, thank goodness, because if it had stayed on,
It'd have been
Wow.
it'd have probably been gone.
That's wild.
Got it back.
So the strike when you're bumping's pretty just bam and it's on.
The hardest, to me, the hardest fighting blue cat is, I'm going to say, 25 pounds. 20 to 30 pounds. Like Nick said earlier, smaller than that, those teen size fish, 10 to 20, you like you said, you can feel them shaking their head, but they'll actually roll. And those fins off the side of their head, well, they'll get in your line. You can feel that line slipping off of it. You can hold them, and you kind of steady feeling that. That 25 pounder, he's man enough. He don't have to shake his head, and he tries to show who's boss. Mm-hmm. And then when you get to that 30 and better, it gets into what Nick was talking about. Usually, just a hard, steady pull. Mm-hmm. And that 25 pounder, he's probably the hardest biting fish. But most of the time, them old big ones, you'll feel him you'll feel him pick it up and put a little pressure on it. And then, like Nick said earlier, he may swim to the boat. You may have to reel like crazy because your boat's going down river and he's coming upstream. You catch up to him, but when you get him straight up and down,
he's there.
he's finna show you something.
Are these big fish female, or where do the males? Do they not get as large as the females?
I've caught some big males.
Yeah. I think the females definitely get bigger, though.
I do too. I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
I think 20, 25 pounds would be a big male to you.
Yeah. I caught one 2 or 3 years ago. And of course, the only way I knew he was a male, it was in August after spawn, and he was beat up a little bit. They'll go through that spawning ritual. This fish weighed 67, and he had the old big head, and you could tell he was poor. He's just like a rutting deer. Mm-hmm. He loses weight and whatnot.
Run down.
And I wouldn't be a bit afraid to say that was an 80-pound fish had he been full and filled out, Mm-hmm. But Nick's right. Most of the males you see that we catch are going to be in that 20, 25 pound range.
That's still a really big.
It's a great fish. I mean, no doubt about
it's
it.
awesome.
Yeah.
I'll take a 25 pounder every day. Now I don't necessarily want him in a tournament, but but out there fishing, with customers or even myself. I love a 25 pounder.
What's a good boat size? What's something you wouldn't take on the river? And where would be your minimum boat for somebody
on the Mississippi?
Yeah.
Well,
I'd say 20 foot be my minimum.
Yep.
Yep.
I fished it for years. Started out in a 15-foot boat with a 25 horse tiller handle on it. Fished it for years. Raised my son on that river in that boat. And then my daughter, she got in high school. Daddy, I want to fish Mississippi River. I told my wife, I said, we finna do something different. I ain't gonna do that girl out there. So we got us a bigger boat and been growing from there.
Now he's got a 26-foot Sea Arc.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
And that, it's a lot of room in that boat.
I've ran one of those, and they are very roomy.
And they're a very, very well built, stable boat. And the reason I went with it is for confidence. I want my customers, I can't guarantee a fish. I can't control the river. I can't control the weather. The only thing that I can control is what goes on in the floor of that boat on a guide trip. And yeah, we have some days. It happens that we don't catch a fish. It does happen.
Yeah.
But I want that customer to be able to say, I had an experience. And that big Sea Arc boat helps me to have that experience. It gives them comfort that it's got room enough that they can move around in it. And it gives that customer that comfort and peace of mind. So that goes a long way with me.
Oh yeah.
Your customers eat a lot of good sandwiches on the boat.
Man, yeah. I have a customer every once in a while. I've got two in particular. They bring a grill.
Ah, that's what I'm talking about.
And they'll cook. One guy, he home makes hot dogs and things, and he did hot dogs one day. Had a ground brisket burgers one time. Another guy, two brothers, they fish with me every year. They wanted to do a catch and cook.
Yeah.
Oh, fun.
So we caught us a 10 or 11 pound blue cat, and I dressed him right there on the back of the boat, filleted him up, washed it off in the Mississippi River water, and I go let him out on the bank. He brings fish cookers, he brings hush puppies, french fries, the whole 9 yards. Well, he's over on the sandbar cooking. Me and his brother sitting out here anchored out. We're still fishing. He hollers when he gets done. We pull back over there, and he sets these aluminum pans on the boat with fresh fried blue cat, potatoes, slaw, hush puppies. I mean, that's a pretty good deal right there.
Yeah, I want to go with them. Yeah. They got any more room?
Yeah, that was pretty neat.
Yeah, the shore lunch. Wow.
So I got a couple more. Look, I mean,
I'm demurring to you.
Well, you're
thank you
the
for your
catfish
question. I'm
guy.
not the catfish guy at all.
This
I'd
is
like
your
to-
genre.
I
You
don't
didn't
know
get
about
that.
my
I'm
genre.
demurring.
You're the river rat.
What is demurring?
It's a new word for me.
It is a new word for me. So just a couple questions. How important is water temperature, and how does that factor into y'all's decision about when to fish or how to fish? Or
Good question.
thank
Very
you, Nick.
good.
See, Bobby.
Well, see, I demurred, so
Yeah.
you get that question out there.
What would you say, David? Below 50 degrees,
Yeah.
you can throw the bumping out.
Below 50, quit bumping.
I mean, they'll still bite, but it's like he's talking about. When it's like that, if you can find a spot like a hole or some structure or something like that, that's when you can find your big fish stacked up, and you can anchor up above them,
I got you.
and then just cast out and do the waiting game.
They kind of seems like they get maybe a little lethargic when the water temp starts getting cold like that, and they basically, for a lack of better words, they won't chase a bait.
Okay.
They'd rather have it sitting there and him just ease up on it and take it at his will. Where the bumping, we're out there in that hot water, and you're bumping down the river in that current, and he's got to catch that bait.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of and we use 50 degrees as kind of I've caught fish bumping in 38 degree water. But I was in a hole like Nick was talking about with a very, very slack current, and I was bumping straight up and down, just real slow, just barely moving up and down.
I'm learning something.
And he ate it up. But
I ain't
there's
worried
not.
about you. You'll be deer hunting when I'm doing
That's
that.
true. That is true. So
That's right.
does it get too hot to affect the bite?
Now, on the Mississippi River, no. Somewhere like the Tennessee River or the Tombigbee, you have to watch out for the thermocline.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I've seen it on the Tombigbee bad. I've seen it on the Tennessee River bad. We were fishing one day on Tennessee River, and I was with a guy that knew a whole lot more about catfishing than I did. And he was going to take me out. This was when I was still in the learning process. But I knew a little bit.
Now he's the master.
I knew a little bit.
Yeah.
We were fishing 75 foot of water on the Tennessee River, and there was literally this fuzzy line going across the screen. And underneath that fuzzy line on his depth finder was nothing. Not a shad, not a piece, nothing showed up. It was just like clear. And I was like, that's thermocline. And we're hanging baits down here 72 foot deep. We're not going to catch anything. I was like, so I took mine and I asked him, I said, one crank on this reel. I said, how many feet do you think that is? He said, it should be around 2 foot. So I dropped it to the bottom. I started counting 2, 4, 6, 8, however many feet I need to get it up. Because that line was like around 50 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And literally within 10 minutes, I caught a 50-pounder.
We're going above the thermocline.
Going above the thermocline. Yep.
See, the Mississippi River's got too much flow.
Churn.
Too much flow. You don't have to worry about thermocline.
Yeah.
And it was week before last, the water temp was nearly 89 degrees in the Mississippi River. But you don't have to worry about a thermocline because that current's just steady rolling and moving, you know, so.
89 degrees.
That's pretty high, yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't think, you know, just thinking about it off the top of your head, I wouldn't think the Mississippi River would get that warm. But
I wouldn't either.
It does.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah, it seems like around here, most people are just fishing that spawn, you know.
That's
hit-
100% what we fish.
gets to be what, April or May or something. The temp gets around 55 and everybody's going.
Fishing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they quit.
Yeah.
And then trying to pick it back up in the fall. And I was going to ask that, spring or fall, do y'all have a preference or?
Spring, Tennessee River. Fall,
Mississippi River.
Mississippi
River.
River. Summer, Mississippi River. Even though Tennessee River's really good in the fall, too.
Yeah.
And out here on the Tom Bigby, those flatheads in the early spring,
Yeah.
one of the best days I ever had flathead fishing, I think. If I remember right, the water temp was in like 55, 54 degrees. I mean, there was just a trickle of a current. And, man, we caught flathead after flathead. I think the biggest one was 54 pounds.
I've always heard that was the magic number, 55.
Yeah.
What are some other popular waterways, that you guys know of that our listeners could check out?
Well, all these giant ones are coming out of, what is it, Kerr Reservoir?
Yeah.
Where's that?
Yeah.
One of the Carolinas.
Yeah.
Good. Why don't you, Mitchell, wake up.
Yeah,
over
Mitchell,
there.
what are you doing over there?
And I think
Check that out, Mitchell.
You know how to spell Kerr?
a lot of these lakes
Kerr.
now are showing up with big catfish. I think they've always been there. I think people are learning how to catch them.
That would make sense.
I think that's what's going on because I can remember 10 years ago, 12 years ago, I fish out of Memphis a good bit. I could go up there on a Saturday and not see another catfish boat, period, in the summertime. I did a guide trip year before last on a Thursday up there. It was 11 more catfish boats on the river on a Thursday. So the COVID area, it brought more people on. And
Fishing's huge and grows every
it
year.
is.
License sales
and
are up.
catfish.
Yeah.
People have figured out that, a lot of people go saltwater fishing, which is great. But people have figured out, heck, I can catch a 25-pound fish or a 30-pound fish right here an hour from the house, and I can turn around and go back home and sleep in the house again. And they're learning how to catch these big catfish, and that's great. The sport's growing. I just hope that we can pass on this
Sustainability,
conservation and get them to say, hey, let's keep these 5 and 6 pounders to eat on, and this old 20-pounder, let's ease him back and let your grandkid catch him.
Yeah.
So as
I
many
think it's
trips
there.
as you're taking, do you ever catch the same fish twice?
Oh yeah. Caught the same fish twice in the same day, 2 different times that I know for a fact.
Ha.
All right, now it'll take me a minute to tell this story.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
We like a good
All right.
story.
I had some customers one day, and we were bumping a little stretch of river there that had some wood on it, and we hung up 2 or 3 times, and but we never broke off with a fish on. Now, I would break the leader, put another one on. Well, we went down river. We broke off a couple of times there. We went down river and fished a little while. Coming back up, I said, let's run over and hit that again. We did catch 2 or 3 fish down through there. Well, here we go, and guy hangs a fish. He's about 11 pounds. Brings him in. I'm getting the hook out of his mouth. And I said, well, wait a minute. There's a brand new piece of line and a brand new red boss cat hook in his throat right here.
Huh.
And I said, okay. That fish had to have gone down and pulled that hook free from that wood that we broke off, because we did not break off on a fish. All right. That guy carried that fish home. When we left, I had a skipjack head as big as my hand, or close to it, a big skipjack head anyway. And we took the bait off, and I pitched it in the river. When he dressed that fish, he called me that Sunday. He said, "Captain, that big skipjack head you had was in that fish's belly."
Golly.
Wow.
The second time, my son and I were fishing, and we had marked a brush top out in the river. We were bumping. Well, when we'd get down to that spot of wood, one of us would catch a fish, the other would reel up and get out of the way. Well, my son, he hooked up a fish and got hung up in that wood, and we broke the leader off. 30 minutes later, 100 yards behind that wood, I hook a fish. I bring it in. There's a brand new leader line and a brand new red boss cat hook in that rascal's mouth. So I use a leader. I use High Seas Quattro. It's a 4-colored leader. Nothing special about it. It's just I've been using it a long time, and it's good. I like it, and it works for me. But it's 4 different colors. So that kind of, it's not just a whole lot of people out there that use that, you know. So, and both fish had that. I used the red boss cat hook, so I'm 100% confident. Both of those fish were caught twice in the same day.
That's crazy.
How big on baits? You said that big headed skipjack. How is it? Bigger bait, bigger fish, or is there a certain size?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Summertime, hot water and whatnot, we'll run
Big one.
Yeah, we'll run a bait that long.
That's about, what, 13, 14 inches long?
Yeah, cut his tail off and put a couple of slashes in his side for scent and put 2 hooks in him and send him down the river. In the wintertime, a lot of times I won't use a bait no bigger than a quarter, and you'll catch a 50-pound fish on it.
And the 2 hooks. So you got tandem hooks, so like a trailer hook, and you'll go one through the back and one through the head, or how's that going to work?
On the head, the way I hook them is go up from the bottom lip between the gill plates and then bring the hook out its nose. And that way, in that current, that keeps the bait's mouth shut, basically. If that mouth opens, it's just like a bucket in that current.
Yeah.
So,
Makes sense.
and then the second hook back in his back somewhere, you know. But 97% of the fish you catch will be on the top hook. Nearly. Do you agree with that?
I agree 100%.
Yep.
And these skipjack, are y'all catching them or buying them frozen? Or
I buy mine, or I have in the past. They come out of Alabama.
I can't afford to buy them.
Well, I use so many a year. I was getting about 1,600 a year.
That's like 2 befores for you.
And they
you got to have them.
Alabama passed a law you can't sell skipjack out of Alabama water. So my bait dealer, I can't get bait from him no more.
So is this like the same thing, like where you buy a box of frozen pogies that you're going to chunk out when you're trying to catch tuna? Is that the same?
No, they freeze these. They'll put like 4 skipjack to a pack. And they'll stack them in there and vacuum seal them very neat.
Okay, yeah, that's not what.
No,
No, they're not.
I bought a box of pogies one time. Skipjack was hard to get, and it was just a box, this big, froze solid,
brick of them. Yeah.
and you try to take a reciprocating saw or something and cut through them, and that was a mess. That was a disaster. They're made to.
Skipjack is like a freshwater.
Herring.
Skipjack herring.
The herring family. Yep, sure is.
And they're fun to catch.
Oh yeah,
I'm talking about
my
a
wife would
blast.
rather go bait fishing than she had anything.
You're catching those on spinning rods? You're throwing cast nets?
Spinning rods.
Spinning rods, yeah. Yeah.
I tried the cast net deal when I first started. It was a no-go.
So you
They're
like
so
a little
fast.
sabiki rig on a spinning rod?
Sabiki rig or crappie jig.
With a little
Yep.
Foley spoon on the end of the sabiki rig.
Yep.
Okay.
Just a little wobbling spoon.
Yep.
I love just running 2 crappie jigs. It seems like red and white seems to be most every time works well, and you'll catch them 2 at a time on that sabiki. I have caught them 6 at a time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you're on a light spinning rod, and you've got 6 12 to 15 inch skipjack on. You got a handful. Yeah, you got a handful.
Try not to get hooked too.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I've experienced that.
Yeah.
So, will you run out in the morning, try to catch skipjack, and then use fresh skipjack, and if you do try to go catch bait, is it a different trip or?
Well, we can catch skipjack on the Mississippi River. they're a little harder to catch. Well, a whole lot harder to catch there. But in the fall, they seem to be a little easier. The water's down below these rock dikes, and that water coming around the end of those dikes, you can usually pick up some skipjack there. But they're not big. I don't catch the big skipjack on the Mississippi River that we do on the Tennessee. But typically, what you do, say if we was gonna have a tournament on Saturday, we'd go on Friday and try to catch our bait and
Load
just
up on bait.
pack them on ice and keep them fresh.
Yeah, I haven't. I mean, not much experience with skipjack, but with shad, and I mean, in trying to keep them alive, I don't know how you do it.
If you got a good rounded oval shaped at least,
Yeah,
and aeration, you can keep them
you can keep 'em
for.
alive.
I mean, you can fish all day with them.
Yeah,
I've done that. When I had my bay boat, that front live well,
yeah.
it was rounded, and I could keep them in there all day and fish with them. I was on Tom Bigby fishing for flatheads with live bait.
It's some companies now that are making these oval tanks like he's talking about that you can purchase, and they've got filtration systems in them, and they'd be pretty pricey.
Yeah.
But if you're using live bait all the time, it'd be worth it.
Yeah, but cut bait's the way to go, apparently.
Well, for me, it is.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, I've that's of course that's a question I'm going to ask because that's the one I always wonder about, and I mean, everybody that knows what they're doing says cut bait.
What's the regulation on if you were to go catch some bluegills and use them as bait? Is that legal?
In the state of Mississippi, to my knowledge, yes, but you've got to catch it on a hook. You can't catch that. You can't catch that game fish in a cast net per se.
And you can only have your daily
The
bag
daily limit. That's
That's right.
Yep,
Yep.
That's right.
daily bag
Yep.
limit in the boat.
But as long as he's caught on a hook and you're within the daily limit, you're okay. Yeah.
So listeners need to check their state rules.
States vary.
100%.
Yes, states vary from state to state.
Yeah,
That
you
is
will
correct.
get checked on the water.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sure
Absolutely.
You guys prefer in the morning or the evening or night if you had your druthers?
I just go fishing. I don't particularly care the time of day. I don't like night on the Mississippi River. Too much debris floating down, too many things in the water that it's too much room for error. Now, when me and my wife go out at night from Memphis, 3 or 4 miles down from downtown Memphis, you've got enough ambient lights, you can see pretty good. Will we go fishing at night? Absolutely. Would I do a guide trip at night on the Mississippi River? Absolutely not.
Man, that's my rule of thumb. Even in a catfish tournament or whatever, I am not leaving out until I can see. Not on the Mississippi River.
Yeah.
No, it's too dangerous.
And there's tons of people that fish those tournaments that do, and I'm done. My partner and I it's been probably 10 years ago now, but we laid us a track down from Memphis, Tennessee, probably 20, 25 miles north of there where we were going to fish. So, depth finder, put a track all the way to where we're going to fish. Made sure I stayed way away and in between all the buoys the whole way. Didn't want to get close to any of them. And I said, all right, you hold the light and I'm going to follow the track. And I was glued to that depth finder. And I was like, all right, you tell me if you see anything. Man, about that time, we missed a buoy that much. That buoy had moved overnight.
Yeah, from the current.
They break loose.
Yeah.
They're fastened down with cables. And I see all you got to do right now is get on that river and ride, and the woods, the islands, the banks are covered in red and green buoys. And they're big and they're solid steel.
Same way out here.
They are solid
So-
steel.
And they, it's just like Nick said, some of these guys in these tournaments will leave out at 4 o'clock in the morning running wide open down that river. It ain't for me.
Yeah, water is a very powerful force, especially in that Mississippi River.
Hey, man, I mean, it drains the whole country. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. It does. Yeah.
Those
That is the drain plug for the whole
those
country.
those tornado things, those that you see in the water,
eddies suck
and
you
it
in,
just
boy.
is. It's just spinning, and you think you drop a stick in it, and you never see it come back out.
Our buddy Peter Frank.
I mean, it's like a
Those things scared me at first, but if you're on the Mississippi River, honestly, Here's when the Mississippi River's bad. When it's on a hard rise. I don't care if it's way down here low, if it's way up here high. If it starts falling, the debris clears out, starts clearing out for the most part. But when it's on a hard rise, I was on it one time. And I didn't care to ever get back on it like that again. I mean, I literally almost couldn't get from one side of it to the other.
Because the debris.
Yeah.
And I've been on the Mississippi River from New Madrid, Missouri to Vicksburg, Mississippi.
Yeah.
And the stories of trees flipping up and down, I've never seen that. Mm-hmm. I've seen some big logs floating down it, but I've never seen a tree just
I hadn't either.
shoot up out of the water like you hear people say.
That's a powerful
No, it's
river
a powerful
for sure.
river for sure.
That hard rise, I've canceled guide trips before.
Sure.
And what happens when that water's rising? It's pulling everything that's on the banks off. All the dead trees that fell over the summer,
Sucking them in there.
It's sucking them in that river, putting it out in that current. Well, like Nick said, when it goes to falling, it starts pushing back to the banks. So soon as it starts falling, you can go fishing. But that hard rise it can be dangerous. Yes.
Not everybody has a good river boat. Do you have a suggestion, like for a time of year when folks can go out, maybe some kind of feature to look for? If you just wanted to go set up on the bank and fish, when would be a good time to do it? And maybe what's a decent strategy?
I would say summer and fall when the river's low. And then a great place would be find a sandbar that you see a straight down bank. It's a lot of sandbars that you can especially off the back of them. If it's got a straight bank, you can sit on the bank and fish 40-foot deep water. And Nick will contest to it. The back of a sandbar, we'll both fish them in a heartbeat. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Sure will.
So the downstream side of a sandbar.
Downstream, yep. It's typically, that sandbar typically falls off deep, and sometimes it'll have that straight down sand bank. And if you see that, I'm going to it every time.
Okay.
Yep.
Good to know.
Yeah.
So how's a guy get in touch with you if they wanted to go fishing with you?
I've got a website, cattingaroundguideservice.com. If you want me, you can get me. Now, I will say that sometimes if you put in just catting around, it may be some things come up that you don't want to see. And I apologize for that. I have nothing to do with that. But I do spell it CATN and then AROUN. So if you can put the exact way it's spelled, it'll come right up.
I got you right.
That's
here.
that local vernacular there.
Yep, that's right. That's right.
So do you allow bananas on your boat?
Good question.
Man, I have that asked a good bit. Yes, I have had bananas on the boat. Yes, we have had good days when somebody had a banana. And yes, we've had some bad days when somebody had a banana.
What about boiled peanuts? Y'all eat a lot of those on the boat?
The most thing that I see eat on the boat by customers is beef jerky. Now, kids, them flaming hot Cheetos.
That's a new thing,
And
huh?
it is guaranteed that you got to pressure wash when you get home, because they get on the floor and step on them, and that's okay. I'm not fussing.
Yeah.
We're having a good time, but those bright red, dark red, whatever they are, Cheetos, they show up on that gray floor.
We'll have to send them home with some peanut patch peanuts to put in the boat.
Yeah, we will.
They're perfect boat food
Yeah.
for
Well,
sure.
speaking of, why don't we go ahead and do the trivia right now while we're here? Mitchell has developed a trivia question just for you guys, and we're going to put you on the spot. See if we can.
You can phone a friend.
Yeah. Well, you got two friends right there. Y'all can
That's right.
talk
We
amongst
good.
yourselves. Mitchell, I'll turn it over to you.
Well, before we get to the trivia question, if you like the podcast, leave a review, leave a comment talking about how much you like it, and you have a chance of winning prizes.
Yeah.
Oh, of course you do. With reviews.
You don't have to say how much you like it. Just leave a review,
Yeah,
whatever
just
you
leave a review.
feel.
And don't forget to sign up for the Nosler gun giveaway.
You know, the person, that's right, Laney. Thank you for bringing that up. But there was a person a couple of weeks ago that was pretty smart in what they did with their review because they mentioned Richie, which.
They're going to get called.
Yeah,
That's
that
a
was
good idea.
that was actually pretty smart
That's pretty
on that
smart.
person.
That's
That was a red hunter or something. It had to be related to
Well, maybe
Richie
somebody
somehow.
should put Mitchell's name in there and they'll get
I think
drawn.
it was Richie's wife.
Could have been. You never know with Richie. Where is Richie anyway?
He just came in and checked on us.
Lord have mercy.
All right, trivia time.
Yeah, let's
Brought
go.
to by our buddies at the Peanut Patch.
Well, this week's winner was Stephen Barfoot. He said, "Great podcast. Good to hear from down to earth people."
He must have been talking about it.
Thank you, Stephen.
But the trivia question is,
What does he win?
what does he win, Bob?
What does he win, Bob?
This is the last Companions
Companions
T-shirt we got out of
t-shirt?
Toxic
All
Closet.
right.
This is a good one. It's got a pocket on it. These are really good. Nick, you know these are great T-shirts.
Love a pocket tee.
Yeah. All right, go ahead.
The trivia question is, which U.S. state has an annual World Catfish Festival?
Mississippi.
All right.
Well, he killed it.
And what town is it in?
Belzoni, Mississippi.
Killed it.
That's
That's
it.
a good one.
That's my man.
Catfish capital world. That is.
That's been going on for years.
It has. Yeah.
I know since I was a kid.
Yep.
Mississippi's known for catfish. I mean, from the farm raised industry to catch them in the wild, it's a catfish kind of place for sure.
Yep, it
Actually, what was the lady we had earlier this week? Natasha?
Natasha.
Natasha, isn't that right?
Yeah, Natasha from over in England.
Yeah. And we asked her if she liked fish and chips or southern catfish better, and she said southern catfish.
That's right.
It's
what I'm
way
talking
better.
about.
That's me too.
They don't know how to flavor anything over there, it seems
Yeah,
like.
that's true.
Well, you're a heck of a guy. I bet you'd be a lot of fun to spend some time with in the boat because I
No
bet
doubt.
you got a lot of stories and cut up.
Well, going back to your customers having a good time, I'm out there with them 7+ hours, and I feel like I have to entertain people.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk a lot. I learn a lot about people. They
I bet
learn
you-
a lot about me, and I sometimes a trip turns into, for lack of better words, maybe a therapy session. Customers come out there and
They tell you everything, I
they do.
bet.
You're out there, man. This is God's creation
Amen.
out on that Mississippi River. We see deer, we see turkeys, we see wild hogs. I've seen black bear, eagles, and when you get out there, you get your mind goes to a place that some people may have never been before. It's just that peace and that comfort, the serenity of it. And if you will get out there and fully engulf what that river has to offer, it's truly amazing. Quick story, and this is a bad one on myself. My wife and I have been married 40 years, going on 41.
Congrats.
Her dad didn't hunt or fish, so the only time she went when we were dating. Well, we married, I don't know, maybe in our second year of marriage or something like that. We were on Grenada Lake crappie fishing, and we were in the stumps, and it was a boat. You could just almost walk from boat to boat, but she was catching crappie, hollering, squealing, having a good time, doing what she was supposed to do. Well, I was a whole lot more competitive, or whatever you want to call it then, and I made a derogatory remark to her. Pretty much told her she needed to hush. And for 28 years, that lady didn't go fishing with me.
Wow.
Now, we had ski boats and pontoon boats. She loved the water, loved the lake. The kids grew up on the lake, but she never went fishing with me. Well, guys, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. And she beat it. She's been clear now for 12 years. No telling how many times over that 28 years I asked her to go fishing. She'd say no. Well, after this diagnosis, you want to go fishing? She said, yeah, I do. We put the boat in at Memphis, and I went down below Memphis there in the Mississippi River. And back then, I didn't have a trolling motor that would spot lock that would hold us. It was still throwing an old anchor and rope, Well, I had that thrown out. She was sitting on the back deck of the boat, had 4 rods, cast it out. I was sitting up front. And she had caught, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 fish. And I just go net her fish, rebait her hook, throw it back out. 4 hours later, and I had my phone out and I took a picture of this. She turned around, had on an old white floppy hat. She said, "Hey." I said, "What?" She said, "This ain't about catching fish, is it?" I said, "No, it's not." And she said, "It took me 28 years to figure out why you do what you do." But she said, she works in the banking industry, has ever since she got out of, well, her whole career. And she said, "I have not thought about the bank. I have not thought about home. I have not thought about washing clothes." And she said, "I've been sitting here 4 hours with this water just trickling by this boat." And she said, "I've never been in this place before." And right now today, she fishes a lot of tournaments for me. She's my tournament partner. And she will pile up in that boat and go put that bumping rod in her hand in a heartbeat.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's a good story. It's bad on my part the way it started, but it ended up very good.
Hey, live and you learn.
That is a great
early marriage.
That's a great story.
I've had a few of those. Bobby, I know you have.
I cannot stand it when my wife
Still
is
trying to
catching
get
fish.
mine in the boat.
Yeah, I've done some bad things to my wife as well. But, like you said, when you're outside, a lot of your worries go away. I am a habitual nail biter, and I never grew out of it. But I just remember when I was a kid, I would go deer hunting with my dad on the weekend, and I'd be on the way home thinking about going to school the next day, and I'd look down and my nails had grown.
Right.
I didn't even think about it all weekend because that same feeling of sitting in the boat.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Well, I tell folks, I've made this comment a lot, maybe not on this podcast, but hunting doesn't relax me. I kind of get worked up. I do enjoy it, and it is relaxing in a sense, but not like fishing. And when you catch a fish and he's stretching your line, that's all you're thinking about is that fish and what's going on, and it just purges my mind.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, you get out there with, and you see and you realize what God has created, and I apologize for not knowing the young man's name, but it's a guy he's got a song out. It's on YouTube. It's called "Jesus in a John Boat," and if you'll listen to that song, it is amazing, and it just explains where this guy gets to when he's out there in that boat, and it'll soften your heart, guys.
100%.
It's therapy within itself. It sure is.
Yeah, it is. Lanny, Nick has never called me and invited me to go fishing. Does he call you?
Yeah, all the time.
Is that right?
He must have lost your number.
Nick.
October.
There you go.
You and Lanny going to Mississippi River with me.
All right, I'm in.
Well, that's both season now, Nick. Now
Well,
That's the reason I'm not worried about him calling you.
Bobby, are you shooting a crossbow or a regular bow?
no, I'm shooting a bear
Gamekeeper
Gamekeeper edition.
edition.
Oh, that's right. All right.
I am all in.
Nick's over there toting that bottomland lift.
well, maybe before the acorns start dropping and it's still a little hot, that'd be a good
That's
time
right.
to go.
Yeah, you don't want to go bow hunting when it's 95.
I don't.
First 2 weeks of October before the acorns drop hard, you can go fishing.
There
See,
you
that
go.
river is on a slow fall right now. I'm just waiting. It's about to get right.
All right.
Yeah. Nick, I've enjoyed having you there. I've known you for a number of years, and you were so kind down there at the store and so helpful, but you're a heck of a guy.
Well, thank you.
I didn't know you were as serious into these catfish as you are.
Have you not
Used to
seen
be a
his
lot
boat?
more serious.
He look, if you go in there, all of a sudden he wants to show you his fish and the deer he's killed. You got to stand there and listen
Hey,
to
look,
all
he's
his
caught
stories.
some giant
Hey,
flatheads,
somebody
yeah.
called me last year. Hey, can you come down here real quick and let me show you what's on my trailer?
Oh, yeah. Oh, bow hunting Bobby. I forgot about that. What they say, a blind hog finds a nut every now and then.
That's right.
It was a good one, too.
Right?
Oh, is that? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Find an acorn. Good point.
Yeah. Well, this has been really interesting. Is there something else we should be, David, when you're driving over here, you probably said, these knuckleheads surely going to ask me about this.
Well, I really didn't have anything to say y'all would ask me about, but I do have a little something that I'd like to say that happened
100%.
30 years ago, maybe.
Okay.
And it deals with Toxie. Now, Toxie, if he walked in this door right now, he wouldn't have a clue who I am, and that's okay. But I used to be in the logging business,
Oh, man.
and somewhere down here east of town, in a bottom west of town.
Yep.
Thank you, Nick.
Yep.
In a bottom somewhere, I was cutting a tract of timber, and I guess it belonged to Toxie, or maybe he had the land. I don't know the story there, but anyway, I met him down there, and he came, and I remember driving in the road every morning. We was going down there to work, and it was feeders, trough feeders on the side of the road, and you'd see deer running back and forth. But anyway, at that time, the best I can remember, the store, maybe office or whatever, was maybe downtown.
100%.
Just an old building.
Mm-hmm.
But Toxie told me, I had my son with me. My son was 5, 6, 7 years old, something like that, just a little guy following me around. And Toxie said, bring that boy to the store. And I did. And Toxie said, you find anything in here you want, whatever. And he said, I'll give you a discount. But he said, I'm going to fix this boy up. And it was a new pattern. And I don't even think it was on the market yet. Maybe some kind of shadow grass or something like that.
Yep, probably so. If it was in
He went
96.
back there and he sent that boy home with a full suit, pants, shirt, T-shirts, cap, the
Geared
whole
up,
9 yards.
yeah.
That boy is 35 years old today. And when he tells me and my wife, well, I want this pair of boots to turkey hunt in or whatever, or I need some new coveralls or whatever, we don't have to worry about the pattern because it's going to be mossy oak. That boy, and my daughter's the same way. So we never have to ask what pattern. We just have to ask the size and style you want.
Yeah.
So, but I remember that, and the biggest thing, that 35-year-old young man remembers it today too.
That's fantastic.
It had to be cut in Cottrell Lake. I mean, it has to be that.
I don't
What do you
know.
think?
Well,
That's
It had to
probably
be Cottrell.
so Toxie's got a big soft spot for
Yes,
kids.
he does.
Yeah. And we the whole company, if somebody's got a youngin' around there, we're going to give them a little extra attention.
Yep.
And that's important. And gosh, you guys I'm sure you take a lot of kids. What a great way to introduce some
Kids
kids
to
to
outdoors. Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I have a lot of kids on guide trips, and I have more fun than a barrel of monkey
I bet so.
with those kids. I had a little boy in July, 9 or 10 years old, caught a 47-pound blue cat bumping. And we
Bigger
got it
than
all
him.
on video, That's awesome.
Yeah, that really is.
Had 4 little boys from Ohio. All 4 of them, a picture of them sitting on the back deck of my boat.
I'm looking at
sitting
them right
side
here.
by side, and a catfish nearly about covering all 4 of them's lap up.
They
to
all
60.
smiling for some reason.
Oh,
I don't know
yeah.
what it is.
But those, we left the rod in the rod holder, and one little kid, he had reeled a few turns, and then another one get over there and reel, and then another. So it was, it's guys, to me, a lot of these trips do me more good than you realize. I get to see smiles, and I get to see expressions on faces that a lot of folks don't see.
That's
And
good
that
stuff.
just it warms my heart to do that.
So one question just kind of bubbled up. When you put in on the Mississippi River and y'all are going down fishing, do y'all have to have like an Arkansas license and a Louisiana license depending on where you are?
States that are across the river from each other, say Mississippi and Arkansas, they have a reciprocal agreement. So my Mississippi license, I put in at Helena, Arkansas a lot, do a lot of guide trips out of there, but my Mississippi license is honored there, as well as if somebody from Arkansas was fishing Mississippi waters. Tennessee and Arkansas have a reciprocal, but Mississippi and Tennessee do not.
that's what I was thinking.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I have to buy a Tennessee license, or I could buy an Arkansas license, and it would work. Of course, I've got a Mississippi, so I think Louisiana and Mississippi have a reciprocal. Now, one thing we learned last year down at Vicksburg at a tournament, it come out that people that are out of state, non-residents, they had to buy a Mississippi and a Louisiana license.
So it's just reciprocal for residents.
For residents, exactly. Yep. Because a guy that was fishing with me from Arkansas, Jackie, He had to buy both. He had to buy both licenses, Mississippi and.
Hey, look, that license money is the best money if you can spend. If you love nature and you love the outdoors, buying 2 licenses is a great thing because it's going straight back to the resource. So it's the way to do it for sure.
Yep. Guys, we've enjoyed this.
Yeah, it's been
A
great.
lot of
Us
fun.
too.
Good suggestion, Nick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Nick Domino.
Nick, we need to have Nick as a regular guest.
We could.
Yeah.
We should.
You know, catfishing is what brought me and Nick together.
That's exactly right.
Oh, that's cool.
We met at a tournament, and Nick has stayed at my house before during tournaments,
Multiple times.
And
You didn't eat all your groceries, did
we
you?
see
Lot
each
cheaper
other,
than the
talk to
hotel.
each other.
And he'll feed you sometimes.
Come on.
He's
Well,
a professional cook. He's got the best pellet grill you've ever seen.
That's what I'm talking
Ain't no
about.
pellet grill. This is the pellet grill, dude. I'm old school, man.
That's a good rapid fire. I'll have to remember
Yeah.
that.
We built it when we built our house about 7-8 years ago. The upstairs, and which me and my wife, of course, we getting old, so we wanted a house that everything was downstairs. We didn't even want stairs, but we figured out that you can go up cheaper than you can spread. So we put an upstairs, and it was a game room. Is what was in the plan. So I got there and I drew in a bathroom. Just went out in the attic and took it in, and it's just a little small shower, big as I am. You know, my elbows bump, but you can get wet and take a shower. Put a commode there and a lavatory to brush your teeth, and we put 4 half beds in that room, and we call it our catfishing friends room.
There you go.
So when Nick and his partner or several others, they come into town, gonna be fishing a tournament, they know they're more than welcome to stay right there, and it don't cost them a dime.
That's awesome.
So, David, you ever out there on the river and you got some lines out, y'all are bumping along? You ever turn on the podcast and listen to the the Gamekeeper podcast when you're out there?
I'm gonna be honest. No, I have not, but yes, I will.
There we go.
That's all we can ask. Nick,
I like it.
guarantee you have.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
That Apple CarPlay is the best thing that ever happened to me. I don't even listen to the radio anymore.
All right, Mitchell, we got anything else? Mitchell, would you please put your shoes back on? What the
I was wondering what that smell was.
gosh.
Mitchell,
Lord
they're
have
flip
mercy.
flops.
Yeah.
All right. Dudley, what about you? You got anything?
No, I'm.
Lanny, you have had more questions today.
I know.
You just got
I like
the floor,
this conversation.
basically.
I don't know about the floor. You never give me the floor.
He's made a lot of notes, David.
yeah.
Made a lot of notes.
Yeah.
He's a water boy.
I'm a water person.
Yeah.
I'm a river rat.
Well, it's
No
been
doubt about
fun.
it.
Thank you, guy. I'm sure
Appreciate
people are
it.
going to call you and want to go
Thank
with
y'all.
you.
Yeah, I hope
Thank
so.
y'all.
Nick,
Oh, yeah.
we're looking
Thank you.
forward to going with
We're
you.
going with
sometime.
Nick.
Yeah, we're gonna go.
Please, that'd be a lot of fun.
All right.
Let me know when y'all go, and I may just show up and
There we go.
film. I may be the
Hey, we can
camera
get
boat.
you to go. Bring your boat, more room.
There we go.
I'm in.
There it is.
I'm in.
Sounds like a plan.
I get
I'm
to
in.
drive the trolling motor though.
We do that.
I'm
we,
bringing the fry daddy.
We do that. We
I'd
might
be
bring
glad to let
Dudley.
you-
Yeah. Hey, we might invite Dudley. You're right.
Maybe so. Somebody's got to
Dudley, you're
get.
invited too.
Somebody's got to get the phone.
Yeah, somebody's got to run the podcast while we're gone, right?
Yep.
Yeah, let's keep that in mind. So, all right, why don't you say goodbye, Dudley?
Goodbye, Dudley.
Get us out of here, Mitchell.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the Gamekeeper Podcast, and be sure to tune in again. Subscribe to Gamekeeper Farming for Wildlife magazine, and don't miss the Mossy Oak Properties Fistful of Dirt podcast with my good buddy, Ronnie Cuz Strickland.